Podcasts have fundamentally changed, and you need to know these 6 things if you're going to succeed in 2025 with your podcast. The first change I've noticed is that podcasts are going away from audio first. Previously, podcasts used to be audio first, designed for passive listening while you were cleaning the house, going on a drive, going on a walk, whatever. But nowadays, people want video. Creators prioritize YouTube because video adds a whole different element of engagement, stimulation, storytelling, etc. Audio is now a secondary medium, but it's always coupled with video. Because video formats allow for richer storytelling, you can see facial expressions, you can see body language, and you can even add visual aids that enhance the viewer's experience. Number 2 is a shift from talking head to more conversational. So previously podcasts, and some still do today, is they have one person speaking to many in an audience to an audience. But I'm seeing a lot of podcasts actually become more conversational, meaning they have multiple people talking to each other, either two hosts or they have interviews or guests. So the audience actually feels like they're eavesdropping into a conversation or they're a part of the conversation versus being spoken to. And I'll speak about this in point number 5. So why this matters is it makes podcasts a bit more relatable and a bit more organic and natural. It's a casual human experience rather than a structured narrating, storytelling, educational lesson. 3, typically podcasts used to be a bit more one-to-many, and there were people that did a little bit of both, the many host format and then the one-to-many. But there's really no expectation of a payoff for a podcast. If you watch it, you're just kind of watching it for the topic. You're not really expecting to walk away with an actionable takeaway or an insight or a humorous moment. You're not guaranteed anything, but you're just kind of listening in on a conversation that you're invited to be a part of, and there's no expectations of a payoff. So for entertainment podcasts, they just want to share funny stories, things that have happened to them, and you're allowed to listen in and laugh. So for educational content, they're focused more on just having thought-provoking discussions rather than distilling information into summarized takeaways. Next up, number 4 is social dynamic, or 2+ people is the norm. So typically, again, it was one-to-many, but now we're seeing multiple guests, multiple hosts on a podcast, where they're either talking to each other or they're both interviewing a guest. So successful podcasts might have multiple hosts, recurring guests, recurring series, roundtable discussions, etc. Because this dynamic actually mirrors real-life conversation and real-life roundtables. It makes the content feel more organic. Number 5 is the eavesdropping effect. Previously, it was very hard to get in touch with people that were celebrities, but now when they're being invited into podcasts like Andrew Huberman, Chris Williamson, Joe Rogan, etc., you kind of see this more human side to them because they're being drawn out of their polished Hollywood self or whatever their personal brand self is into a more authentic, human, genuine situation because the interviewer has done a good job of making the conversation seem more human and more authentic. And you see sides to people that previously you didn't see. And this is one of the main differences between YouTube channels and podcasts because YouTube channels are very polished. I can probably say this sentence 5 times and cut it out and find the best one. But in a podcast, it's very hard to say the same sentence 5 times. It's very, very authentic. So when you're eavesdropping on this conversation, you know it's real, and you know it's a real conversation that real people are having. You don't have to discern any further whether it's authentic or not. And the last shift that I see, and this is a very personal one that I believe, is that it's moving away from celebrity focused to topic focused. And what that means is people don't care who's on your podcast; they care about what you talk about. So you could have Joe Rogan on your podcast, but if you talk about bunnies the whole time and you don't care about bunnies, you're probably not going to watch. So I've noticed this when I watch a lot of YouTube podcasts where they will interview people and they talk about a specific topic, and I'll watch those podcasts even though it's not anyone that I know because the topic is interesting to me. And I'll watch a lot of like Diary of the CEO and Chris Williamson, and they'll talk about like maybe so this is a situation that I saw where they had like Jocko Willink on, right? And he talks about like, maybe how the police forces ran in America. I personally just don't care, but I love Jocko Willink. So I watched it for Jocko, but then I realized, they're not really just talking about Jocko. They're talking about these different topics. And this is not interesting to me. So I actually didn't even watch the full podcast. And I hate to admit that even though I love Jocko. So I think people want topics more than creators or like the celebrities because they want to follow and see what's interesting to them, not like people that are interesting to them because, again, people have multiple dimensions and multiple opinions, and you may not agree with every opinion, so they want to know that you're talking about what they care about versus who the person is. So these changes are happening for 3 main reasons. There's a big competition for attention. The attention economy is very real, and attention is the best currency in the world. So as video is better to hook people and retain attention, podcasts are now adding video to keep up with the demands and keep up with YouTube, basically. Two, people crave authenticity. Like they just desire that so badly that they don't really want to watch someone give a structured lesson every single day. They would prefer very authentic, organic conversations with people on topics that they care about. And that's why they like podcasts, because it offers a very low stake, low pressure, organic conversation that you can eavesdrop in and feel like you're part of the conversation without feeling the need to take something away and implement it. It's just a very low stakes, very casual interaction that you can have with a creator that you like. And discoverability. Podcasts typically on Spotify and Apple Music are notoriously hard to grow, but on video and especially YouTube, it's very, very easy to grow given the SEO factor and that YouTube just in general has a longer shelf life. So podcasts are trying to get more discoverable, so they're moving to video formats and platforms like YouTube to keep up with those demands and just generally grow faster. So that's basically the 6 ways that I've seen podcasts change and how I predict it's going to change in 2025 and 3 reasons why. So if you're making a podcast in 2025, I would definitely think about some of these and let me know what you found helpful and what you don't like at all and what you think I'm wrong about. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions. Leave them in the comments below. And thanks for tuning in. Bye.